The sun over the bazaar of Zender Prime was a tired copper coin sinking into a haze of industrial smog. The air was thick with the scent of scorched oil, exotic spices, and the underlying tang of despair. Stall after stall offered glittering tech shards, bioluminescent pets, and salvaged starship components. But one small stall was different. It displayed simple, hand-carved wooden toys. A sleek starship, its wings sanded smooth. A quartet of miniature alien fauna, each with articulate joints. A puzzle box of interlocking earth oak. They were things of quiet beauty and tactile warmth in a place of cold polymer and neon. Their maker, a human named Elias, sat on a low stool, his calloused fingers applying a final coat of non-toxic sealant to a small, rolling creature with too many legs and a friendly smile. He was a broad man, with a face lined more by sun and sorrow than years, and he watched the crowd with calm gray eyes. His quiet was shattered by a high, desperate voice. "Please, they are mine. I need the credits." Elias looked up. Before his stall stood a vril, a species he knew to be avian in origin, though this young girl looked more like a bedraggled sparrow. Her fine, downy feathers were matted and dull, and her large, dark eyes were wide with panic. She was clutching two of his toys, the starship and the puzzle box. A hulking Troxian merchant, his chitinous plates gleaming unpleasantly, held her by one slender wrist. The Troxian boomed, drawing the attention of nearby stalls. "You steal from my stall, you little gutter feather?" "I did not." The girl chirped, her voice trembling. "These are not yours. I took them from the ground." The Troxian shook her. "Lies. You will be processed for debt labor." A crowd began to gather, a ring of indifferent or amused faces. This was a common drama in the lower bazaar. Elias set down his brush and stood. His movement was not threatening, but his size made the Troxian pause. "Is there a problem?" Elias asked, his voice a low rumble. "This pestilence steals," the Troxian hissed. "I claim restitution." The girl turned her pleading eyes to Elias. They were pools of pure, unadulterated terror. "They are yours, yes? The human toy maker? I found them in the dirt behind your stall. I did not steal. Please tell him." Her words tumbled out in a frantic rush. "Take your toys back, human. I need money to buy medicine for my mother. She is sick. The fever. She cannot breathe." The credits were for medicine. She thrust the toys toward Elias. They were indeed his, slightly scuffed from the fall. He must have knocked them off his table earlier. He looked from the perfectly carved wood in her hands to the raw fear on her face, and then to the avaricious gleam in the Troxian's multifaceted eyes. The merchant saw an opportunity, not for justice, but for profit, either by selling the girl into servitude or by extorting the human for her release. Elias felt an old, cold weight settle in his chest. He had left Earth to escape its ghosts, to find a quiet corner of the galaxy where creation could be simple. But some ghosts were universal. "She speaks the truth," Elias stated, his voice carrying. "The toys are mine. They fell. She picked them up." The Troxian's grip tightened. "Then she took what was not given. That is theft by the codes of this bazaar. I am a witness. The fine is 100 credits, or she comes with me." It was a blatant shakedown. The crowd knew it. Elias knew it. The girl's feathers flattened in utter hopelessness. She had tried to do a good thing, to return what was lost, and it had become a trap. Elias reached slowly into a pouch at his belt. He pulled out a small, flat data slate. 100 credits, you said?" The Troxian nodded, a smug clicking sound coming from his thorax. The girl wilted, knowing no medicine would be bought today. Elias did not transfer the credits. Instead, he tapped the slate. A bright, holographic display sprang to life, showing a rotating seal, a stylized E, encircled by olive branches. A murmur, this one of genuine surprise, rippled through the crowd. Even the Troxian took a half step back. "You know this emblem," Elias said, not as a question. "Earth Government. Extrasolar Colonial Authority. I am a licensed cultural preservationist and artisan. These toys," he gestured to the stall, and then to the ones in the girl's hands, "are not merely merchandise. They are registered cultural artifacts. The unauthorized seizure, attempted resale, or fraudulent legal claim against them carries a penalty under interstellar treaty of not less than 5,000 credits and potential embargo of your trading license." He spoke plainly, without malice, as if reading the weather. He turned the slate, showing lines of dense legal text. "The theft claim is false. The witness is complicit in fraud. Would you like me to file the grievance now? The adjudication drone arrives in approximately 43 seconds after I press this." The Troxian released the girl's wrist as if it had become white-hot. His smugness evaporated into panicked calculation. 5,000 credits was ruin. An embargo was death. A misunderstanding, he chittered hastily. A simple mistake. The light here is bad. My eyes are not what they were. Then your eyes should look elsewhere, Elias said, lowering the slate. The Troxian needed no further urging, melting back into the crowd with a final, nervous glance. The onlookers, disappointed by the lack of drama, drifted away. The girl stood frozen, the toy still held out to Elias like an offering. She was shaking. Elias knelt, bringing himself to her eye level. The hard lines of his face softened. "What is your name?" he asked gently. "Key," she whispered. "And your mother is sick?" Key nodded, a quick, jerky motion. "The gray fever. It is in our sector. The medicine is 20 credits. We have 4. A tear traced a path through the dust on her cheek. Elias took the toys from her hands. He examined them, then placed them back on his stall. He then reached into a different pouch, one of worn leather, and pulled out a simple metal tin. From it, he extracted a roll of physical credits, a rarity. He peeled off several notes. Not 20, 50. He held them out. "Here." Key stared at the money as if it were a venomous snake. "I cannot. I did not earn it. I almost caused you trouble. You tried to return what was lost," Elias said. "That is worth something. Take it. Get the medicine. Get some clean water, too. And food for yourself." Trembling, she took the credits, clutching them to her chest. "Thank you, human. Thank you. I will repay you. I swear on my mother's life." "Just get her well," Elias said. He hesitated, then picked up the small, rolling creature he had just finished. He pressed it into her free hand. "This is a roly-poly. From Earth. It is for good luck." Key looked at the silly, smiling wooden creature, then back at the human's weary eyes. She saw no pity there, only a recognition of a shared struggle. She bowed deeply, her small frame folding in half, then turned and fled into the labyrinth of the bazaar. Elias returned to his stool. The incident was over. He resumed his sealing, the rhythmic motion calming. He sold a few more pieces as the copper sun vanished, replaced by the garish glow of neon signs. He was packing his unsold wares into a sturdy case when a shadow fell over his stall. It was not the Troxian. It was a vril, male, with sleek, well-preened feathers the color of iron. He wore the modest robes of a sector administrator. His eyes were sharp, intelligent, and worried. "You are the human," the vril stated. "I am. My daughter is Key. She told me what you did. She is with her mother now. The medicine is working." The administrator's posture was one of profound, formal gratitude. You have saved a life in our nest. We are in your debt." "No debt," Elias said, closing his case. "It was the right thing." "Perhaps for a human," the Vril administrator said. "Here, such kindness is often a liability." "It is noted." He paused. "My daughter also said you showed the Troxion a legal seal, that you threatened him with Earth law." Elias gave a small, almost imperceptible shrug. It was effective. A strange clicking chuckle escaped the Vril. "Yes, but I have been an administrator for 20 cycles. I am familiar with the Earth trade codes." "There is no—" "What was it?" "Cultural artifact classification for wooden toys." Elias looked at him, his gray eyes unreadable in the neon half-light. He said nothing. The Vril's humor faded, replaced by deeper respect. "You bluffed." "For her." "The law," Elias said softly, "is sometimes less about words on a slate and more about knowing when to stand. My people have a saying, 'Speak softly and carry a big stick.' Today, the data slate was my stick." The administrator considered this. "The Troxian will realize his mistake. He will be angry." "I expect he will," Elias replied, hefting his case. "You are not afraid?" Elias looked around the bazaar, at the harsh lights and harder faces. He thought of a small girl with matted feathers and eyes full of terror, and then of her, now in a nest with a mother who would live. He thought of the ghosts he carried, and how for a moment they had been quieted. "No," he said, and it was the truth. "Some things are more important than being afraid." The Vril administrator bowed, a gesture of equal to equal. "The nest of key is yours, human. If you have need." Elias nodded his thanks and turned to walk into the bustling, uncaring night. He did not look like a hero. He looked like a tired man carrying a case of toys. But for one alien girl, and for her father, he had been something the galaxy seldom saw, a force of quiet, immovable good. He had not fought with weapons or shouts, but with a clever lie, a roll of credits, and a small wooden creature meant for good luck. And in that, he had reminded a small corner of a vast, indifferent universe that humanity's strength was not always an eye.